Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, CTB Cam Talks Boxing. So yeah, in this video we'll be talking about the Jake Paul and Tommy Fury situation. Has Tommy bottled it? Everyone's obviously calling him Tommy Fumbles. And we'll be going over the replacement for Tommy Fury, who is Hasim Rahman Jr. 12-1, 6 knockouts, and he's also been knocked out once. He's obviously the son of the former heavyweight Hasim Rahman, who famously, and it was quite an upset really, he knocked out Lennox Lewis, which was obviously then they had a rematch, and then Lennox Lewis knocked him out in the rematch. But yeah, so let's go straight into Jake Paul. We know right now he's 5-0, he's had 4 KOs, so he's obviously a heavy hitter. The thing with Jake Paul is, I think people are starting to realise and starting to respect him a lot more. He started off, obviously he has a lot of haters, he's quite a troll, but like I know Eddie Hearn said it a lot, and a lot of people realising that, okay, it's for the hardcore boxing fans, they don't like that this guy who's used to be a YouTuber and still is getting into boxing and making a lot of money and kind of stealing the limelight. But at the end of the day, he's actually putting in the work now. He's going to start actually fighting real boxers. He's obviously tried to fight Tommy Fury, and now he'll be fighting Hasim Rahman, who's a proper boxer, you know, a real boxer. So he's putting in the work in, and you can't really knock Jake. He's obviously heavy-handed. He obviously says a lot of stupid things, really ambitious things, in terms of his ambitions, which is obviously to fight Canelo in 3 years, which is, as Eddie said, just a bit crazy. But let's go straight into the Tommy Fury situation. Tommy Fury is 8-0, 4 knockouts. He's obviously signed with Frank Warren, Queensberry Promotions. He's had a couple of fights. I've watched most of his fights. And with Tommy, that's the thing. I think Jake Paul v Tommy Fury is such a great matchup. It's obviously not like these two, Sugarland and Duran, but in terms of the level Tommy and Jake are at, where they are in their careers, I think it's a perfect matchup because it's literally a 50-50 fight. You'd think Tommy, the natural boxer, he's got the Fury name, he's from the Fury family, and he's been obviously boxing probably for a couple of years now, good few years, since he was young. He's been in that environment. He should sweep the floor with him. But we've seen with Tommy's recent performances, he's not amazing. You don't look at him and think, wow, look at that jab, look at his footwork, look at the speed of his punches, look at his power. He's quite raw. To be fair to Tommy, he hasn't had much of an amateur background, so you can't be too harsh. But yeah, I just think, from my opinion, I'm starting to doubt whether Tommy really wants this fight. I'll be honest, for the last 12 months, I've always said Tommy Fury will beat Jake. I want Tommy Fury to win. I think he's an actual boxer. He'll expose Jake. But now I'm just starting to think, like, come on, you're not backing it up. You pulled out once, okay, fair enough. It was a bit suspicious, but you might have had an injury. But now to pull out again, it's giving me flashbacks to David Haye and Tyson Fury. Let's be honest, David Haye didn't want no part of Tyson Fury. I'm starting to think, does Tommy Fury just not really rate the fight? Does he not really fancy himself? Does he actually think, you know what, Jake Paul's actually improving now, he's actually good, and it's just maybe more of a risk. He doesn't want to be a meme, because if Jake Paul knocks Tommy Fury out, he won't be able to show his face out in public. Honestly, he'll get memed, he'll get trolled, and it'll just be embarrassing for the Fury name. And there's a lot of pressure on him, because Tyson Fury is saying you might as well just stop boxing if you can't even beat Jake Paul. So I think he might be actually just doubting himself, and he might be thinking, blimey, am I actually really up for this? Because he gives it large to Jake. He sounds confident, but then like what is going on? So let's get into the reason why it's supposedly, or why. What's the obstacle right now for this fight not to happen? So it's been cancelled because Tommy has said he's not been able to get into the USA. The first thing I say about that, he was in, I'm pretty sure, and let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was in USA a month before. So I'm not sure what that's about. But then to counter-argue that and be fair to him, it could be linked to the Daniel Kinahan situation, which I don't want to go into that too much. But obviously Tyson Fury has supposedly been rejected entry into the US as well. So when I think like that, maybe it's a valid reason, and maybe people are just jumping on the bandwagon and just getting a bit pissed off about it, and just calling Tommy like Tommy Fumbles, and just saying he's just pussy. He's a pussy now. So yes, that's just two sides of it. Is he making excuses? Is it a valid excuse, or has he got a valid reason? But it just seems twice to pull out. I just can't get my head around it. I'm just so frustrating. But then what's also come out is his dad today, so Mr. John Fury, who we all know, he's come out saying he wasn't ready, he's overweight, he said he could have a better camp. In fact, it's up to you if you want to fight it without his obviously dad being able to go there. So that's just saying one. So his dad's saying one thing, and Tommy's just come out again recently. So like after that, since then, he's come out today and said, ignore that. The reason I didn't fight him or pulled out is because of because of him not being allowed in the US. So look, I want to make a quick point on that, and it's just following up on. So if you haven't already watched True Geordie's podcast, he has like about a 20-30 minute clip with, I think it's, I can't remember the name now. He's had someone else on there, another boxing channel, boxing guy. And they're just speaking about John Fury wants to be the man. He wants to be the face. He wants to be the one making the decisions. But I feel like Tommy and his dad and like Tyson, they just don't, I feel like John's just a bit delusional. They don't really listen to his dad. And it's just a prime example now. John Fury's saying one thing, and then Tommy's coming out and just denying it and saying no, that's not the situation. So I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes. Is there a bit of conflict there? I heard some rumours about Tommy Fury potentially training with Shane McGuigan for the Jake Paul fight, and I think that would be good. I think Jake needs to leave. I think Tommy needs to. I think Tommy was going to train with Shane McGuigan, and I think that would be brilliant. I think Tommy needs to get a proper trainer. I think his dad just needs to. I love John Fury, to be honest. I find him hilarious, but I think he just needs to step back a bit and just reflect on, like, because he said he comes up with a lot of nonsense at times in terms of, well, it's proof in the pudding today. Like, he's coming out saying, exposing Tommy today, but then Tommy's coming out and denying it. So was he ready? Is it a legal issue? Like, why have you pulled out? So I think that's one thing. So yeah, it's just hard to say. I'm honestly having doubts. Like, I think he's bottling it, but then at the same time, Jake's recent comment was, okay, if you can't fight in the US, come and fight. I'll fight you in the UK for $500,000 or so. But then Tommy goes and responds, he don't get out of bed for 500,000. Mate, it's going to be your biggest payday. Do you want the fight or not? Like, if you beat Jake Paul, then you can get $2 million in a rematch or whatever. So it's just Tommy's attitude towards it. It's just, does he want this fight? I don't know. So yeah. My prediction would be, Tommy win, but now I'm just thinking he'll probably get sparked out by Jake. But let's just move on now. Look, the situation now, Jake's fighting Hasim Rahman Jr. He's 12-1. He's been knocked out once, but he's got 6 knockouts on his name. I'll probably do another video closer to the fight, breaking down the fight, seeing what I think about both and what my prediction will be. But I think it's, like everyone's saying, it's a harder fight, so I respect Jake. Hats off to him. He's not choosing no bum. Like, I'm not sure how much of an amateur background Hasim Rahman's got, but he's got a background in boxing. His father was a boxer, so I'm sure he's quite experienced, and I think it'll be a really good fight. They've got a bit of history as well, so like with their sparring, so that will be good for the promotion. Saying that, the fight's quite soon, innit? The fight's in about 4 weeks, so that doesn't help the promotion, but I think that would be good for a bit of trash talk. It's funny, I saw one thing about, I think apparently Jake's team bought Hasim Rahman Jr.'s loads of followers on Instagram because he had like 2k, but all of a sudden he has like 130k. So that's one thing I'm a bit suspicious about Jake. Like, are these fights fixed? Because even the Woodley fight, I don't know, that knockout just seemed a bit suspicious. But yeah, we'll never know about that. It's just interesting because obviously he's worth millions, isn't he? He can set up these fixed fights, but I don't know. I think it's a hard one. We don't know. I think he puts in the work in, to be fair to him. But yeah, so credit to Jake. I like his attitude. I do like his attitude. I'll say that. I like what he puts in the work. I do boxing myself, so I know how hard it is. And yeah, he's obviously training well with BJ Flores. So let's see how Jake does. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight Hasim Rahman Jr. and I think it'll be a great fight. I'm looking forward to the press conference. But yeah, that's just my take on the whole situation. I think with Jake, I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again, and I think let's just see how it goes. But yeah, I'll post another video on this fight quite soon, in the next couple of weeks, maybe fight a week. And yeah, my next video will be out this Friday. It will be on the Ryan Garcia Javier Fortuna fight, breaking it down, giving my prediction, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. See you later, guys. Peace out.
Foreign bad bitch, I can't even pronounce her name. Talking numbers on the phone while I'm getting brains. Switch 4 lanes, I'm in my own lane. You can catch me riding in that foreign thing.